step into a world where ink, whispers, and moonlight intertwine. In the Witch's Grimoire, Spells, Spirits, and Shadows, we'll unlock the ancient pages of forgotten magic, where every spell has a story, every spirit a secret, and every shadow a purpose. From the rituals of old covens to the mysteries written in enchanted tomes, this journey will reveal the hidden truths of witchcraft's most powerful tool, the grimoire. Are you ready to uncover the wisdom that lies between the lines of darkness and light? Open your mind, light your candle, and let the magic begin. Welcome to the Witch's Grimoire. The Witch's Grimoire, Spells, Spirits, and Shadows. The hidden book of power. Throughout history, witches have been portrayed as mysterious figures, keepers of secret wisdom, intermediaries between the seen and unseen worlds. At the heart of every witch's craft lies her most sacred possession, the grimoire. This enchanted book, part diary and part spell book, is more than parchment and ink. It is a living reflection of the witch's soul, her magic, and her legacy. The Witch's Grimoire, Spells, Spirits, and Shadows explores this timeless symbol of mysticism, uncovering the layers of its creation, its relationship with the spirit realm, and the shadows it hides within its pages. Chapter 1. The Origins of the Grimoire. The term grimoire originates from the Old French word grammaire, meaning grammar, a reference to writing and language. In the Middle Ages, it evolved to mean a book of magical knowledge, a guide to understanding the grammar of the universe itself. Every word, every symbol, and every gesture in these books was believed to shape reality, allowing the witch or magician to converse with cosmic forces. The earliest known grimoires were found not only in Europe, but also across ancient civilizations, from Egyptian books of the dead to Babylonian incantation tablets. These early forms were manuals of invocation, detailing how to summon deities, spirits, and celestial beings. Over time, as witchcraft evolved, the grimoire became more personal, less about commanding gods and more about connecting with nature, intuition, and ancestral magic. For witches of the early modern period, the grimoire served as both shield and sword. In a world where magic was condemned, the book was hidden, written in coded symbols and invisible ink. Some witches even bound their grimoires in protective charms, iron clasps to ward off prying eyes, sigils etched into the cover to curse thieves, and pages that could only be read under moonlight. The grimoire was not simply a tool, it was a companion. It grew as the witch grew, absorbing her successes, her failures, her fears, and her enlightenment. To lose one's grimoire was to lose a part of one's magical identity. Chapter 2. The Structure of Power. A true grimoire is never random. It is structured like a sacred map, designed to lead its keeper through the labyrinth of magic. Though each which crafts hers uniquely, most grimoires follow a common thread, an unspoken order passed down through the ages. The Book of Beginnings. This section often contains invocations, dedications, and protective seals. A witch might begin with an oath to her craft, a calling to her spirit guides, or a declaration of purpose. This is where intention anchors the grimoire's magic. The circle of correspondences, colors, herbs, stones, moon phases, and planetary alignments. All these form the web of connections that fuel the witch's work. This part teaches the witch to understand how every element in nature vibrates with energy, and how to harness those vibrations. The Compendium of Spirits. Here dwell the spirits, deities, and familiars the witch has encountered. Each entry describes their nature, their temperament, and the offerings that please them. This is the heart of communication with the unseen, a delicate dance of respect and reciprocity. The Book of Shadows, perhaps the most personal section. It records the witch's spells, rituals, dreams, and lessons learned. It also holds her failures, for every spell that misfires teaches humility and wisdom. The name Book of Shadows refers to the reflection of light and dark within the practitioner. The Codex of Shadows and Secrets, the most guarded portion, containing forbidden or dangerous knowledge, spells of binding, banishment, or necromancy. These are never written lightly. Often, they are encoded, hidden between innocuous notes, or written in sigil script to conceal their true intent. every grimoire, then, becomes a mirror, reflecting its owner's relationship with power, knowledge, and the spiritual world. Chapter 3. Spells, the language of creation. At its core, the grimoire is a book of spells, the written expression of intention. A spell is more than words. It is a formula that weaves thought, symbol, and emotion into a single moment of manifestation. Each spell is a dialogue between witch and universe. The anatomy of a spell. Intention, the seed of the spell. What does the witch desire to bring forth? Healing, protection, transformation, or vengeance. Correspondences, the tools and elements aligned to that purpose. Herbs like rosemary for remembrance, crystals like amethyst for clarity, or specific moon phases for energy amplification. Words. Spoken incantations serve as vibrations that awaken energy. Some witches prefer archaic tongues. Others craft their own sigil languages. Action. The ritual that embodies the intention. Lighting a candle, drawing a circle, burning an offering. Release. The final breath, the surrender of the spell to the forces beyond. What makes the spells within the witch's grimoire powerful is not their complexity, but their authenticity. A spell written by one's own hand, charged with one's own emotion, carries far greater force than borrowed words. The witch's heart becomes the wand, and the grimoire, the echo chamber of her will. In these pages might rest love's spells entwined with rose petals, wards carved into the margins to banish negativity, or blessings written beneath wax seals. Some witches even use blood or tears as ink, not as superstition, but as a symbolic merging of self and magic. Chapter 4. Spirits, the invisible companions. No grimoire is complete without mention of the spirits, the unseen intelligences that walk alongside the witch. Spirits are not always ghosts or demons, as folklore often claims. They can be ancestral guardians, nature entities, celestial messengers, or the echo of energies shaped by human emotion. In the witch's grimoire, spells, spirits, and shadows, the spirit world is not portrayed as distant, but deeply intertwined with the material. Witches have long understood that every object, every place, and every breath contains consciousness, however faint. The three realms of spirits. The spirits of nature. These are the most ancient, born of earth, air, fire, and water. They guard forests, rivers, and stones. To summon them is to speak the language of creation itself. Witches who align with these spirits often find their magic strengthened by the cycles of the seasons and the rhythms of the moon. The ancestral spirits, these are the guiding lights of blood and memory. They offer protection, counsel, and wisdom carried from lives long past. In many traditions, the grimoire is passed through generations, each which adding her voice to the ancestral chorus. The shadow spirits, these dwell at the edge of human perception. Not inherently evil, they represent the unknown, the fears, desires, and unhealed wounds of the psyche. Working with shadow spirits requires courage and discipline, for they mirror the witch's own darkness. Communion with spirits is an act of deep respect. The witch does not command them, but invites them, offering incense, water, or whispered gratitude. Each spirit has its signature, a scent, a sound, a flicker of light, and the witch learns to recognize these signs through years of devotion. Some grimoires even include spirit seals, sigils that anchor these entities to specific pages. When the witch opens to that sigil, the spirit's presence awakens, ready to lend its energy. Chapter 5. Shadows, the path of the inner witch. Magic is not only about controlling external forces, it is also about mastering one's inner shadows. The witch's grimoire, in many ways, is a mirror of her subconscious. Each spell, spirit, and symbol reflects aspects of herself, her fears, her hopes, her unresolved wounds. The shadow path is the process of confronting and integrating this darkness. Every witch must face her shadow, the parts of her soul she hides or fears. Within the grimoire, this is expressed through dream journals, divination records, or meditations on the self. Some witches even include pages intentionally blackened, blank spaces to represent the unknowable parts of existence. Shadows are not curses, they are teachers. They teach humility, self-awareness, and balance. Without them, light becomes arrogance, power without wisdom. A witch who denies her shadow risks corruption, for unacknowledged darkness becomes destructive. In the witch's grimoire, spells, spirits, and shadows, the interplay of shadow and illumination is a recurring theme. The book itself is both sacred and dangerous, a key to enlightenment or madness, depending on the heart of the one who wields it. The witch must learn that true power comes not from domination, but from harmony, the acceptance of both her celestial and infernal nature. Chapter 6. The Evolution of the Grimoire in the Modern Age. In the digital era, the grimoire has transformed. Modern witches now craft e-grimoires, digital journals, encrypted documents, or online archives of spells and rituals. Yet, despite the change in medium, the essence remains the same, a sacred record of the witch's journey. Some choose to blend tradition with innovation, recording spells in old ink books, while using technology to research correspondences or celestial movements. Others incorporate modern symbolism, circuit boards as magical diagrams, binary code as a new language of invocation. Interestingly, the resurgence of witchcraft in popular culture has reignited interest in grimoires. From fictional tomes like the Necronomicon and Book of Shadows and Charmed, to personal spiritual movements that honor ancient practices, the grimoire continues to evolve as both an artifact and an idea. It symbolizes the timeless human desire to connect with forces beyond comprehension, to write one story into the tapestry of existence. But modern witches face a unique challenge: the commodification of magic. True grimoires are not aesthetic props, but vessels of spiritual truth. They cannot be bought Puritan, for their power lies in authorship, the ink of experience. Thus, contemporary practitioners must reclaim the grimoire as a living document, one that grows and breathes as they do. Chapter 7. The Legacy of the Witch's Grimoire. The witch's grimoire is a paradox, at once deeply personal and universally symbolic. It transcends time, language, and culture, reminding us that magic is not merely about spells or spirits, but about the relationship between self and cosmos. Each grimoire tells a story. One may open with prayers to the moon, another with curses against oppressors. Some are bound in leather and sealed with wax. Others exist as whispered oral traditions. But every grimoire, no matter its form, speaks the same truth. The universe listens. The witch's journey is one of remembrance, of rediscovering ancient wisdom buried in her blood, of reclaiming the voice silenced by fear and superstition. Through her grimoire, she records not just rituals, but revelations, the realization that the divine is not external, but within her. When she writes her final entry, sealing the book with her last breath, her grimoire becomes her immortality. It carries her essence into the hands of future generations, a bridge between past and future, seen and unseen, mortal and eternal, between spells, spirits, and shadows. The witch's grimoire, spells, spirits, and shadows is more than a study of witchcraft. It is a meditation on knowledge, transformation, and balance. It reminds us that magic is not confined to cauldrons or incantations, but exists wherever intention meets awareness. The spells teach us creation, how to speak our desires into being. The spirits teach us connection, how to honor the living web that surrounds us. The shadows teach us integration, how to embrace our full, imperfect selves. To hold a grimoire is to hold a universe in miniature. Each word written is a spell, each blank page a possibility. And perhaps the true magic of the witch's grimoire lies not in its power to change the world, but in its power to change the witch herself. And so, the final page of the witch's grimoire closes, its whispers fading into the twilight, yet its magic lingers still. The spells, the spirits, and the shadows you've met today are only the beginning of a much deeper mystery. If you felt the pull of ancient power, the thrill of hidden knowledge, or the beauty of the unknown, then don't let the circle end here. Like, subscribe, and join us as we journey deeper into the realms of witchcraft, myth, and mystery. Until our next incantation, keep your candles burning, your mind open, and your spirit ever curious.